So, are you thinking to move to Seattle and want to know some of the top 5 mistakes to avoid? Well, stay tuned. In this video, we're going to talk about 5 mistakes to avoid when moving to Seattle. Hey everybody, this is Tova Williamson, and on this channel we shoot tons of videos of what it's like to live in Seattle, Washington. So if those are the types of videos you want to see more of, go ahead and subscribe and click the bell icon and you'll be notified every time new videos come out. We honestly get reach outs every day from people that are relocating to the area and just need help. We love hearing from you guys, but we can't help unless you give us a call. So call, email, text, whatever you got to do, because we've got your back when you move into Seattle. Okay, so today we're going to talk about things to avoid when moving to Seattle, kind of the top 5 things, some things that maybe I wish I knew when I moved here. So hopefully this can help you when you're moving here. So number one mistake to avoid is just not being aware of the topography of the area. When you look at a map, it just looks like a normal city and you're like, oh, point A to point B, it'll take, it says it's 2 miles, it'll take 10 minutes. Well, Seattle, the roads, it's super hilly. You can't see that on maps. Some hills literally are like almost vertical. So just knowing that and being aware, like when you're trying to get places, can make it a lot easier. The roads here are like really narrow too. So sometimes it looks like on a map that you can just like go a certain way, but the roads are one ways, or you can't get through that way, or there's road construction, which is everywhere. So I think it just really helps to be aware of kind of the topography. If you can, like if you're looking at a map, look at like the street view too, to help you realize when you're looking around. I think it also helps when you're like searching for houses or apartments. Just not like look at street views of things too, because sometimes it's like looking at on a map, like, oh yeah, that looks close to downtown or in this certain area. But then you look and it's like on the backside of a hill and there's no sidewalks and there's power lines everywhere. And then, it's just kind of different than what you would expect. So just being aware of the topography and knowing that it doesn't look like what it looks like on a flat map. It's very, very hilly here. I think Seattle has, I don't even know how many hills, but there's a lot of hills here. Number 2, one thing that is kind of the surefire way to scream that you're not from the area is using an umbrella. Locals here will, grumble at you as you walk down the street if you're using an umbrella. Kind of one of those things, like it does rain here a lot, but people are very into their, Gore-Tex and rain gear and hoods. Like they don't, I feel like they think it's like weak if you use an umbrella. So, if you want to use one, go for it, but just don't be surprised when people are like kind of grumbling under their breath as they walk by you. Seattle's pretty passive. They're not usually going to like yell out right at you, but they'll be like, use an umbrella. So if you do want to use one, just be aware when you're walking, like don't, you just like end up hitting people in the face on accident. I think a big reason why a lot of people also don't use them here is a lot of times when it's raining, it's also like really windy too. So it just blows your umbrella inside out and then it's just like a mess. And you go into stores and you have this like wet umbrella dripping everywhere. It kind of is more of a hassle than it's worth. Like it's just easier to put on a jacket with a hood and rain boots and walk down the street. So if you want to like blend in and try to seem like you're a native Seattleite, don't use an umbrella. Number 3 is be aware of the speed limits here. So the speed limits on the freeway are 60 miles an hour, which is a lot slower than a lot of areas. Other places where I've lived, a lot of places are like 70 or maybe sometimes even 75. So the speed limits here are 60. The roads are like 25, super slow. And then there's some areas that are like not really a freeway. It's like Aurora, some of these like bigger roads where it seems like you could go really fast. The speed limit's like 30 or 40 on them. So just being aware of that. And for the most part, people here drive the speed limit too in the fast lane. So if you're like in a rush to get somewhere, you're going to be like weaving in and out of traffic trying to pass people because people like go the speed limit here. It can get kind of annoying sometimes. But you just want to be aware of that because there are cops that sit on their motorcycles like on the freeways during rush hour and they just like pop people constantly. Like I've been pulled over before, and in the time that I got a ticket, like the other cop on his motorcycle had already like got two people. So like they're out and they watch. So just like be aware of that. You don't want to get speeding tickets. It's just kind of a pain to deal with. So just be aware of the speed limit here. And if you want to go faster than 65, like you're going to have road rage for sure here. Number 4, don't leave valuables in your car. This area, Seattle specifically, is like known for like smash and grabs. Like people will break into your car and steal valuables. So don't leave anything valuable in your car. If you have to, like, put it in your trunk or hide it. But I mean, you see, like when you're walking down the streets, I'll just see like glass on the street where you can tell like somebody got their window broken out. And sometimes it's things like maybe you don't even think it's that valuable. Like I've had a friend get their car broken into and they just stole like an old duffel bag with like old dirty clothes in it. You know what I mean? So it's not worth it to have somebody think that there's something good in your car, break your window and steal it. Like maybe you don't care about what got stolen, but then now you have to like repair your window. So don't leave valuables in your car. It happens like during the day too. So just be aware. If you're looking for apartments or houses, it's nice to have a garage or like a parking garage that you can park into. Sometimes that's not always an option, but just be aware. Don't leave valuables in your car. I've known people that just like leave their cars unlocked when they park on the street outside of their apartments because they're like, well, if somebody wants to take the change out of my ashtray, they're not going to break my window. Like, I don't care. So if you want to go that route, go for it, but just don't leave valuables in your car. And number 5, the last one, is be aware of the parking rules here. Like Seattle has such weird parking. There's like zone, there's some areas where it's like back end angle only, zone parking where you can park in a certain neighborhood, maybe for 2 hours. If you want to park longer, you have to have the zone permit. You can only get the zone permit if you live in the neighborhood and show your address. There's some areas that are loading only, so you can't park there. So you just really want to be aware and like read all of the signs and just really get familiar with them, because the meter maids are out. Like they will give you tickets. They watch. Like I've gotten a ticket 2 minutes over the time, like they're out, they wait for it. So definitely be aware of the parking rules and limits. There's some areas too where it's like a street, it's 2 lanes, it turns into parking during the day, and then during rush hour, it's road again. So you can only park from 10 to 3, and then you got to move your car, you get a ticket. So you just really got to read those signs, really be aware. There's sometimes like signs get like knocked over all the time too, like people trying to park. So if there's no signs around and you're like trying to park, I take pictures just of like where I parked and like the sign. It's like, so if I get a ticket, it's like, no, you didn't have any sign. Like I didn't know what I had to do. So be aware of that. Also, the curb sometimes will be painted white or red, like for loading or something, but then the paint like starts to wear off and you can't see it. And it's like, well, can I park here? Can I not? So sometimes it's just like that gray area and you just go for it. But that's why I always like, if it's a gray area, I'll take a picture of it. And if, I haven't had a ticket in some of those instances, but if they do, it's like, well, paint the curb, because I don't know what's parking or not. So yeah, parking is a big deal here, and you really want to make sure you know all of those rules. So there you have it. 5 mistakes to avoid when moving to Seattle. Some of the things that I wish I would have known that kind of had to learn the hard way. So hopefully that can save you a little bit of headache. Moving to Seattle can be tough, especially when you're trying to find the right spot and you just don't really know about the area. So that's what we're here for. We're here to help. We want to help. We love hearing from you guys, but we can't help unless you reach out. So give us a call, email, text, however you want to get a hold of us. We got your back when you're moving to Seattle.